Economists say some factors likely to support slowing inflation going forward include weaker global inflation, softer oil prices, and subdued domestic demand. A recent Bureau for Economic Research inflation expectations survey indicated inflation is expected to be 5.1% this year, down from an estimated 5.3% earlier. The survey of businesses, analysts, and civil society shows they expect inflation to further subside to 4.8% in 2025 and 2026.
So the expectation for inflation for the month of August, we're expecting the inflation figure to be at around 4.6%. Consistent with the July figure of 4.6%. We are seeing that there is a global easing with price pressures, and we're also seeing that being reflective in South Africa. We are, in terms of a forward look, we're expecting inflation to be at around 4.9% for the year 2024 in total. But also when you look at the figure, you can see that it's the lowest we've experienced in about 3 years. Firstly, but also secondly, it also shows that we are now getting inflation around the 3 to 6 inflation target range. So it's now being at around the midpoint, which is 4.5%. And so this is something that's welcomed by the economy. But of course, we are likely to see the changes with the introduction of the two-port system. As we know, that on its own is an economic stimulus. And so in as much as we perhaps might not see the effects immediately, but in the medium term, which is around 2025, we will start seeing the uptake of the inflation, depending on how, the spending will be induced by the two-part system.
The expected slower inflation will support chances of an interest rate cut, with many economists saying the Reserve Bank could start cutting rates as early as this week.
If we're looking at, the decision for interest rates with the Reserve Bank that are coming up, there's a number of things that they are considering. Inflation expectations, one of them, and as they trail down, that is a positive. Of course, there's inflation coming down, also a positive. Also looking at interest rates cut expectations in other regions, for example, the US and the UK. There we are also with the inflation in the US in particular. That's the suggestion that you could see definitely a 25 basis points cut there. That should encourage also us to cut interest rates.
The Reserve Bank's Monetary Policy Committee is meeting this week deliberating on monetary policy and will announce their decision on Thursday afternoon. Gloria Sefakomusi, SABC News, Johannesburg.